So we about to jump right in. If y'all could do me a favor, if everybody could mute your phone, can y'all do that for me, or your device, whatever device you're on? Go ahead and mute it so we don't have any interruptions. And I'm actually going to go ahead and record this too. So if you miss a piece of it, you can check it out later. Hey, listen, I'm excited, man. I'm excited that you guys are actually on, and we're going to cover some super valuable material, in my opinion. You know, oh, for real? That was me. I guess I need to turn my stuff off, right? But we're gonna cover some super valuable material, and I think it's gonna change. It's gonna change the trajectory of your business and hopefully your life. Because when I first started my company, like all I knew I needed to do was work hard, right? And I was no stranger to hard work. I mean, I could put in the work, but I had no idea that my business was going to work, right? I thought I needed to raise money. I thought I needed other resources. I thought I needed, contacts, and which I didn't have too many of, but I did know how to work, okay? And I think one other key ingredient I had was I listened, right? Or I paid attention. And you know how you're navigating through life and you're on a journey, and you're trying to get somewhere, and you figure out, hey, I'm headed in the wrong direction, or I'm making a wrong step. So at that point, I started to put down, sort of a roadmap, right? A navigation tool on how to really make this entrepreneur journey work. And I tell you, we've had some success, but I believe the success that we've had at my company, at My Tech Partners, is nothing compared to what's going to happen in the next 5 to 10 years. But I'm super excited because my passion really is like helping entrepreneurs make money, helping entrepreneurs crush goals. So give me a thumbs up right quick if you guys can see the screen. If y'all can see my actual screen here. Can y'all see that? Y'all good? Okay. Okay. Awesome. All right. So we're gonna jump right in. I actually. All right. So here's what you're gonna get by the end of this webinar. Okay. Because I want you to get some value out of it, but I'm big on like takeaways. So when I do like a sales boot camp or seminar, or even when I just sit down with somebody, like I want them to take some concrete information and be able to use it right after I talk to them. So like I promise you, like right after this webinar, you're going to be able to take some things that I share with you and implement them right away. All right, so that's the key. So you'll be able to position yourself to grow a seven-figure business. Introduction to kind of the roadmap of what we're doing and what we did to build that business. Sales hacks, right, to increase your sales. Developing a winning psychology, which is a process, and then attracting the right team, a team building strategy, which really leads to culture. So that's what you're going to get by the end of this webinar. And guys, I want you to stay to the end because I'm going to give you a couple of bonuses. I'm going to actually give you an infographic with some sales hacks. And these are kind of some tools. I think it's about 10 tools on this infographic that we use every day, right? And some of them are super simple. Some of them are kind of unique, but they work. And we use them over and over again to attract clients, to attract referral partners, and to really advance our business. So I think, again, that's something that you can use as soon as you get off of this webinar. So stay to the end. I'm going to give you a link so that you guys can get that. And I'm also going to give you access to our accountability group for 5 days. So we have a small accountability group, and every morning, I'm telling you, we jump on the phone or Marco Polo, and we're engaging each other and keeping each other accountable. So it's a really helpful tool, and I think it's something that everybody should experience and put on their list to do. But you got access to that for 5 days too. All right, so who am I, guys? If you guys don't know me, I'm Bill McCleskey, okay? And I'm an entrepreneur. And about 6.5 years ago, I started a company called My Tech Partners. So My Tech is a telecommunications company, but the background to that is I used to work at Comcast, right? And when I was working at Comcast, I was like, this is crazy. Like Comcast is doing some ridiculous stuff, especially as it relates to customer service and all these processes, but it's a huge company. So it's very bureaucratic, right? So I came up with this idea to start My Tech, which really simplifies how companies buy cable and telecom services. And in under 5 years, we hit, well over 7 figures. and still building a company today and just having a lot of fun doing that. Also started officially this year the GrindIncludesFriday.com, which is a personal and professional development company. So we do sales seminars called Sales Bootcamp and other, content or programs that, help build entrepreneurs and again, help crush their goals. So my objective is to really, share value and help people get to a level, either that they didn't think they could get to, or just get to an impactful level to change the world. I think that, for me, entrepreneurship really saved my life. I was the guy in high school who was like a class clown. Everybody saw me as the class clown, and I joke with folks sometimes, and I tell them, look, I graduated number last in my high school. I wasn't a valedictorian. I wasn't a salutatorian. I was number last, okay? And people used to look at me like, this is a knucklehead. But when I started to understand certain principles and apply those principles, especially in business, we turned this thing around. And that's what I'm going to share with you guys today. So why am I qualified, right? To talk about building a 7-figure business. Well, because we've done it. Okay. We did it with My Tech Partners in under 5 years. We were ranked the 16th largest, minority company in Nashville, Tennessee by the Nashville Business Journal. I put out a book called Get Off Your Assets, right? And this is 12 chapters of principles on how we build our business, right? Those 12 principles are values in our business. Like every one of my team members has to learn those principles, right? And learn those values and implement them. And so I put that in a book. I do a lot of speaking and coaching. And I actually joined the EO last year. If you're not familiar with the EO stands for Entrepreneur Organization. It's an international organization, but the Nashville chapter is actually the largest chapter in the U.S. behind Tokyo and Mumbai. So Nashville's got a thriving EO chapter, and to qualify to be vetted in this group, you have to have at least $1 million annual revenue. So very excited about that. I'm on the board this year for EO Nashville. And again, my passion is helping entrepreneurs do their thing. Hey, y'all, here's some pictures of this first picture of me on the in the crew on the left is an article in the Tennessean. We actually this was about when we're at like $500,000 a year in revenue. I was super excited about this article. That picture on the right is me speaking as a keynote at my high school graduation. I mentioned I graduated number last, right? But then I started having success as an entrepreneur, and guess who they called to be the keynote speaker? Your boy, right? So we turned it around. That's my lovely family, my wife and my son, Miles, and National Business Journal really highlighting our company as the 16th largest company, minority company in Nashville. All right, y'all. So let's jump in, man. I really want to dive into these steps. And the reason I'm going to spend time like going in on the steps is because, again, I want you to get the value out of it. I want you to be able to use something as soon as this webinar is over. But at the same time, I want you to think about this information almost like it's brand new. Like sometimes when we sit in a webinar or when we hear somebody speak, like we hear something and we probably have already heard it before, right? Like when I do the sales boot camp, sometimes people come up to me and they say, you know what, I've heard all that stuff you said before, right? But my business is still struggling. Well, maybe you're not internalizing it, right? There's something called application, right? People say knowledge is power, but that's not true. Applied knowledge is power, right? You got to do something with that information. And I think that the way we perceive information, the way we take it in plays a big role into that. So I saw this statistic the other day, and I wanted to share it. The average entrepreneur earns $44,000 a year, okay? The average entrepreneur. Now, to me, I don't know about you, but like $44,000, I don't get excited about $44,000, right? Unless it's every week, okay? Or something like that. But 44 grand a year is not going to change most people's lives. Does that make sense? Now, we want to talk about helping people get to 7 figures, all right? And again, my goal, I put a goal out there. I set this goal last week. I said, we're going to help 100 entrepreneurs build a 7-figure business. That's my goal, to do that in about 4.5 years, all right? By 2025, okay? I think we can do it. with some content and partnering up and strategic partnerships with other organizations. But that is my goal. And I've been coaching. I've been doing this thing. Here's a quote by one of my buddies or an associate, actually. I sat down with him. He had just started his business recently, and he didn't have any customers. And he said, he sat down with me for about 45 minutes, y'all. I gave him some tips, some tools, some feedback. And look at the red. He said just an hour or so with Bill on Friday was literally worth thousands of dollars to my business. Okay. This dude went out and landed a customer paying him a couple $1,000s a month on retainer. Okay. Because of what I told him. So it's testimonies and reviews like this. When I started getting stuff like this, I realized, hey, this is not only what I enjoy. This is not only what I'm passionate about. I happen to be, good at finding the gaps, filling in the holes when it comes to building, scaling, and growing a business through sales. And so that's what I love doing. So let's jump in. What's the first step? Step number one, y'all, change your identity, okay? Change your identity. What does that mean? If you're going to build $1 million company and you haven't done it, then you're not going to do it becoming or being the same person that you are, if that makes sense, right? There's a concept called be, do, have. Okay, the concept is called be, do, have. You got to be before you can do, and you got to do before you can have. All right, so most people want to have, right? Like when we set goals, we may set these New Year's resolutions or monthly goals, and the goal is usually like something tangible or something that we want to reach, right? So it may be, I want a six-pack. Okay, I want to lose 10 pounds. I want to make this much money. I want my company to hit this revenue goal, right? That's what we want to have. But in order to have that, we got to what? We got to do the work, right? Most people are not willing to do the work because they have not become the right person. Now, I was just mentioning this previously, but sometimes people have the information, right? We know what to do, but we're not doing it. Why? Because we haven't become the right person. So my argument is, if you're going to be a millionaire, if you're going to build $1 million company, you have to become an entrepreneur who runs $1 million company before it actually happens. Does that make sense? So you see yourself as that person. You have to constantly be changing your identity to become that particular person. And you have to be intentional about doing it, right? You don't wake up in the morning and just by habit start, changing your identity. Like you have to do it on purpose. So I did a video about this a week or two ago about identity. Like it's how you perceive yourself, how you believe yourself. And I call it BS, right? It's belief systems. What you believe about yourself, how you perceive yourself is how you're going to carry out a certain strategy or how you're going to navigate in this game called entrepreneurship. So changing your identity is a must. If you don't get anything else from this webinar, get this, you must constantly on a daily basis be changing your identity, okay? Checking your identity, how you see yourself. Because think about it like this. If you're 40, let's say you're 35, 40 years old, you've been living with yourself for 35, 40 years. You grew up, your parents, your culture, your neighborhood, whatever. All of that has an influence on you. If you're going to change that, then you have to battle it, right? So you have to battle it with your self-talk, right? And I think here's two ways, guys, that you can enhance and change your identity for the better. Number one is self-talk, okay? What are you saying to yourself, okay? Affirmations. When you do affirmations, I mean, it's not, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy, right? But I'm talking about affirmations that are meaningful, affirmations that are going to prick your heart, that dig deep, right? And these affirmations must be said with enthusiasm, with clarity, okay? And the affirmation must also be said in the positive, right? So I have affirmations that I've had since I was in college. Like literally, God's wealth is circulating in my life. His wealth flows to me in avalanches of abundance. All my needs, desires, and goals are met instantaneously, for I'm one with God and God is everything. So they just roll off my lip, but I make it a habit to be intentional about my affirmations, right? I am a young, powerful, honest, and unstoppable business owner, building unlimited wealth for myself and my family. So these are affirmations that I beat into my skull, right? And I do this intentionally. I used to do them 3 times a day. I used to have an alarm on my phone. Like 3 times a day, I would take 4 or 5 minutes, and I don't care if I was, exercising, in a meeting, walking down the street, in the restaurant, whatever. I would say these affirmations to myself over and over again. And I still do it to this day because I know that I've got to feed my subconscious. Now, I guarantee you, y'all heard this before, right? But are you doing it? Make it a priority, because guess what? If I see myself, here's what got me, y'all. I met people who had 7-figure businesses, and I was smarter than them. Like, I was like, you got a $10 million company? And they wasn't that deep, y'all. You know what I'm saying? So my point is, the reason they were able to achieve that, though, is because they saw themselves running a multi-million-dollar company. They saw it. They grew up in an environment where that was the expectation. And maybe most of us probably didn't do that. I know I didn't, right? My expectation for me was go to college, get a job, pay your bills, right? I didn't have the expectation to go and build a 7, 8, 9-figure business, right? But now every day I've got to beat that into my conscious, into my subconscious. The second thing that you can do, guys, to help change your identity is to expose yourself to people who are where you want to be, okay? So if you want to be a millionaire, if you want to build $1 million company, you need to be hanging around people who got $1 million company, all right? You need to get in the circle. And you may say, well, I don't know anybody who has $1 million company. Yeah, you do. And if you don't, you need to figure it out. Go find them, like get to them, like right away. Because as soon as I told myself that, I got around people who were building $1 million companies or already had it, guess what happened? The energy just rubbed off, right? You're going to start talking like them, thinking like them, being exposed to opportunities that they have access to, and it just happens. So guys, I put this as number one because this is probably the most important thing. Change your identity. If you don't see yourself as a millionaire, it's probably not going to happen. It's not going to happen on accident, right? Success leaves clues. There's a method to the madness here, right? So change your identity, all right? Number two. All right, create, sustain, advance. All right, create, sustain, advance. Now, y'all, this is a strategy that I've used in my business since day one, okay? I learned it like from somewhere else, but this is key, y'all, okay? Business is built on momentum, all right? Whoever told you slow and steady wins the race, they lied to you, okay? You must create, sustain, and advance momentum over and over again, okay? You got it. It's a must. It ain't something you should do. It's something you must do. You create momentum, you sustain it, and then you advance the momentum, okay? Now, how do you create momentum? You go crazy, all right? So every business needs what in order to be successful? Customers, all right? We need people that we add value to that are willing to pay us for the value that we extend to them, right? So we need to go crazy finding customers or finding customer getters, right? I like to call them customer getters, but they may be referral partners or strategic partners, right? So we need to go crazy doing that. In our business, I'm gonna give you an example. For 30 days, we go crazy in the creation stage, okay? So our sales guys or I'm out meeting people, and that's all we're doing. Like, we're meeting folks, we're collecting information, we're collecting data, we're putting it in our CRM, and we're going crazy, like collecting data. We ain't even trying to close deals. Like, we just going crazy, creating new relationships, nurturing those relationships, following up, doing all this stuff, right? The second 30 days, guess what happens? We have to sustain the activity. And I'm talking about the activity that comes from these potential customers, because you're gonna have people following back up with you, calling you, wanting quotes, wanting to have conversations, wanting to get a meeting. So you sustain that momentum, and then you advance the momentum. The way you advance the momentum is you close deals, right? Or I like to do events. And when I say events, I'm not talking about like a trade show or an event, at an office, meeting room or something like that. An event can be me meeting one-on-one with somebody at Starbucks, okay? And we add massive value. We figure out what type of value do I need to add to this person, okay? Now, I'm going to talk a little later. I think the next step kind of gets into this, but about strategic partnerships. Because my theory is, whereas most entrepreneurs go after customers, they shouldn't do that. We should be going after strategic partnerships more than customers. Because if we go after referral partners, the customers are going to come, right? All right, so it's almost like if you shoot for the stars, at least you probably land among the moon, right? So just as that saying goes, when we go after referral partners, we may not get a referral partner, but we're establishing a relationship where we can get constant customers or a constant pipeline of customers. So remember this, guys. Business is built on momentum. Whatever you're doing in your company, you got to have a creation stage, sustain stage, and then you have to advance the momentum of your business, and then you do that all over again. So it depends on your business, right? I mean, there's certain things you got to do based on your business, and you got to tweak it. You got to learn your process and tweak it. All right, step 3, make strategic partnerships a must. Make strategic partnerships a must. So this, hey, listen, this goes back to what I just said. Most entrepreneurs are looking for customers. You should not be looking for customers. You should spend 80% of your time when you're in customer acquisition mode. Okay, and I should just say acquisition mode. You should be looking to form like legit concrete relationships with partners and referral partners. These are people who can refer you business. Okay, strategic partnerships. 80% of your time, 20% of your time should be spent going after the actual customer, the actual end user. All right, in my business now, I don't even talk to customers. Like, I'm talking to partners, right? I have a salesperson on my team. All they do is form new relationships with partners. That's how they get paid. How many relationships did you create? How many professionals signed our partner agreement this week, this month? How many deals did they send us? What opportunities are they helping us uncover? So that's the objective, guys. We signed up a Holiday Inn hotel as a customer yesterday in Alabama. Okay, I never spoke to the customer, but guess what? They signed up for a fiber optic internet circuit. They're going to be paying about 15 grand a year for this circuit, 3-year contract. And guess what? It came from a partner. I mean, and deals like this come to us every single day, not every week, not every month, every single day, because our priority is the strategic partnership. It's not the customer. Okay. Now, guess what? We're going to service the customer. We're going to provide great support for the customer and a great service. But guess who our real customer is? It's the referral partner. Because if we figure out how to help that particular professional or that company thrive, guess what's going to happen? They're going to keep sending us business. And now we get opportunities every day. Ask yourself the question, if I had 3 or 4 referrals coming in every day, how would that change my business? Just think about that. I mean, if you had 1 new referral come in every day, how would that change your business? I mean, how many working days in a month? 20? If you had 20 new referrals a month, how would that change your life? How would that change your income? It would be ridiculous, I guarantee you. So think about this and figure out where you need to spend your time. All right, step 4, y'all. Commit to the process and not to the result. Okay? Commit to the process. Now, we've all heard that statement, trust the process, right? But most people, trust me, they don't trust the process, okay? We got to worship the process. We got to commit to the process. And what does this look like? If you have a goal, okay, we talked about setting these goals, right? What you want to have. Your goal is not what you commit to. If your goal is to make $100,000 or build $1 million company, guess what you got to do? You got to reverse engineer that, right? So if you say, I want to build $1 million company in 3 years, well, where do you need to be in 2 years? Where do you need to be in 1 year, 6 months, 1 month, okay? 2 weeks, 1 week, 1 day. What do you need to be doing on a daily basis? And whatever it is, whatever your regimen is that you should be incorporating every single day, that's the process, okay? And you're going to tweak it along the way, right? Because that's just part of the journey. But commit to that daily grind. Commit to the process. Because when you commit to the process, guess what? You're probably going to exceed the goal. All right. That's just how it happens. Look, if I want to go out here and let's say I want to lose 10 pounds, right? I set a goal, I'm going to lose 10 pounds. And I keep saying, I want to lose 10 pounds. Well, guess what? In order to lose 10 pounds, guess what I got to do? I probably got to work out. I got to change my diet, right? I got to drink more water, right? That's the process. So working out, meal prep, drinking water, that's the process. I don't even have to focus on the 10 pounds. Focus on the process every single day. And guys, commit. You commit to the process. Most of us don't know what commitment is, okay? Commitment is doing what you said you were going to do long after the mood in which you set it in has left you. Okay, so we get excited when we set goals or do a vision board and we say, okay, I'm going to do this every day. But then when you don't feel like it, now that's not committed, right? So when I say commit to the process, I'm telling you, I don't care what happens, get it done. I'll give you guys a quick hack, and this is, I think I put this on the infographic. But one thing, like when I used to make calls, I used to make like 100 calls a day, right? When I first started my company, and that was my goal. Like I was like, I'm gonna do 100 calls a day, and I'm telling you, it's exhausting, right? But I did it for like 3 days. Okay. I mean, my goal was to get to 2 weeks. I did it for like 3 days. And then I was like, I got to cut this down to like 40, 50 calls. Right. But sometimes I wouldn't feel like making calls, or in the afternoon, I would always do my follow-up calls. I didn't feel like making follow-up calls. Right. But what I would do is I would sit down at my desk and I would pick up my phone and I would say, okay, I'm going to make 3 calls. And I would identify the 3 companies or individuals I was going to call, and I make 3 calls. Or if I'm doing emails, I'll say, I'm going to shoot out 3 emails. Guess what? I never stopped at 3. I just had to get the momentum going, okay? So not feeling like doing something is no reason not to do it, right? I never feel like going running in the morning, but I go running every morning, right? Because I know if I just put my work gym clothes on, step outside the door and just start walking, eventually I'm going to start running, right? So that goes back to momentum. Get in position to do the right thing, but commit to the process, not the result. All right. Next one is know your numbers. All right. Know your numbers. So you should know when it comes to sales, you should know what your closing ratio is. Okay. For example, so if you ran 10 appointments this week with potential customers, you should know what percentage of that you usually close. Is your close rate 25%? Is it 30? Is it 50%? Right? If you know your numbers, you can put together a concrete plan. So this is what we did in my company, right? So that every time a salesperson came in, or every time I set a goal for myself even, right, I knew, because I knew my numbers, I knew what activity I had to commit to. I knew what process I had to commit to. So I knew my closing ratio early on was about 30%. That means for every 3 appointments I set, I would close 1, right? So if I wanted to close 5 deals this week, I needed to run how many appointments? 15, right? It's just math, right? But the real question is, how many calls do I need to make to set 15 appointments, right? How many calls do I need to make to set 1 appointment? So if it takes me 10 calls to set 1 appointment, how many calls do I need to make to set 15 appointments? 150, right? It's just simple math. So now I know I've got to make 150 calls to sell 5 deals, okay? Because those are just my numbers. Now it's going to be up and down, but if that's your average, that's your average, all right? And you can commit to the numbers. Now the cool thing about this is that's what you can control. You can control your numbers. You can control what you do. I can't control whether somebody says yes, right? I can't control whether somebody doesn't show up for an appointment. They no-show me, right? Or they reschedule. I can't control whether somebody hangs up on me or picks up the phone or responds to my email or responds to my social media post or my Facebook. I can't control that. All I can control is what I do. So now that I know, hey, if I make 150 calls, that's going to give me 15 appointments at a 30% closing ratio. I'm going to close 5 deals. I usually make $500 a deal. That's going to pay me $2,500. So if I want to make $2,500 this week, I need to make 150 calls. Now I got a game plan, right? I do that for every single one of our salespeople that come through. I say, hey, here's how many calls you need to make every day. Here's how many appointments you need to set. Here's how many emails you need. Here's how many networking events. Here's what you need to do. And we know that way we can forecast, right? I can tell you probably where we're going to be next year. I'm telling you, before my company hit $1 million in revenue, I knew we were going to hit it about 1.5 years out. Okay, because I was able to forecast based on the activity because I knew my numbers. So that is powerful. When you know your numbers, you ain't got nothing to be worried about. Okay, you know, hey, I got to get in here and hustle, or we're on track. Does that make sense? All right, number 6, commit to and pay for personal development. All right. Oh my goodness. Commit to and pay for personal development. Now look, I said before, you got to be before you can do, and you got to do before you can have. The only way, like when I was in college, y'all, one of my mentors told me, he said, the way that you earn more money is by becoming a better person. Okay. And that's through professional and personal development. Right. and he said you need to spend 10% of your income. This is what he said. Okay, he said you need to spend 10% of your income on personal development. I'm gonna be real with you. I still ain't there. Okay, but he was saying, hey, if you make $100 grand, you need to spend 10 grand on personal development. That's books, that's workshops, that's coaching, that's seminars, that's pouring into yourself so that you become a better person, whether that's a better entrepreneur, a better individual, a better father, better husband, whatever it is. But you need to pour into yourself so that you become better. Because guess what? Like attracts like. All right. So when you get better, guess what? You attract what you want. You attract better things. That's why I told you before. Get in terms of your identity, get around people who are already making $1 million. Get around people who already have $1 million businesses, because guess what? The access that they have, the energy that they have, the knowledge that they have, you're going to pick it up. Okay. Pick it up and get it. So here's the thing about personal development too. It's a must. It's not something you should do. It's something you must do. Right. And it's something that you have to be super intentional about. Okay. We've got to have a morning routine. All right. Map out your morning routine. Be concrete about the morning routine. Have an evening routine, right? Have that time by yourself, whether that's meditation and solitude. And then I think it's super key, y'all, for you to pay for personal development. Why do I say that? Because you got to have some skin in the game, right? If you don't value something, you're not going to pay attention to it. Like a lot of times, like people tell me, man, I'm gonna go on YouTube and do this. So I can download that. I'm like, look, you better spend some money. Where you put your money, that's where you're paying attention. Okay. So put your money on personal development and be intentional about. I don't care if you're just buying some books from Amazon. Like invest in yourself, because guess what? When you invest in yourself, you're telling yourself, you're subconsciously, hey, I matter. We're gonna pay attention to this and we're gonna make it a priority. Right. So here's the last one, y'all. Develop a marathon mindset. All right, y'all. At the beginning of this year, I definitely had the goal to run a marathon. Now, COVID-19 kind of messed that up, right? I still should have just got out here and ran 26 miles, but I did not. And I also had an issue with my Achilles heel. Okay, so I kind of stopped training. But when I started training, one of my buddies, he sent me, a training document, and it just showed how many miles I should be running every other day. So it's like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. The long run was on the weekend, right? And then the next week, I should increase my running, or the time that I ran, or the miles that I ran. And then it would increase on up to the marathon, right? And I'm telling you, like, entrepreneurship, building a business is just like that, right? You have a plan, you map out your plan, and guess what? You commit to the process. That was my process, right? And the main thing I'm saying, though, is there are levels to this, right? If I had never run a marathon, guess what? I'm not going to go out here tomorrow and run a marathon, right? I got to train. I'll take one day at a time, 1 week at a time. And there's things that I need to address every single day, whether that's running, whether that's my diet, whether that's my water intake, all this type of stuff, stretching. So that's how building a business is. The other thing about having a marathon mindset is that when you run long distances, sometimes at some point you hit a brick wall, right? If you guys have ever run long distance, I was a sprinter like in high school. I ran track. But when you run long distance, sometimes your body is like, okay, dude, it's time to stop. Okay, like your back hurting, your knees, your ankle, like everything is just tough. Your face is, you going crazy, right? But that's when your mind kicks in. That's when your psychology kicks in. And that's what happens in business too. Because in business, you are going to hit a wall. Like you're going to hit a wall and you're going to say, I can't go any further. I can't stretch anymore. I don't know what to do. There's nothing for me to do. And that's when your psychology has to take over. And guys, that's why I started off with identity, because your belief system, your BS about who you actually are, who you identify yourself as, is going to determine what you do when you hit the brick wall. Are you going to stop? Are you going to tuck your tail and run? Are you going to push through? Are you going to access resources to push through? That's the key. So develop a marathon mindset. So a lot of times when I'm working with entrepreneurs, I'm telling you, sometimes they tell me, yo, that's hard. I don't feel like doing that. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. You sound like my son. He's like 11. Okay. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. Right. But you have to set yourself up to win. And I'm telling you, the way to set yourself up to win is to make sure you got the right identity and develop the mindset of somebody who runs a marathon. All right. So real quick, guys, what I want to do is go over some sales hacks. All right. I think I got 4 of them in here. I'm gonna go through these real quick. Okay. All right. So the first one is Taproot. All right. So this is great, y'all. This is going to make you a lot of money if you learn how to do this effectively, right? And in our online course, I show you steps and really strategy on how to do this. But Taproot means get through your customer, not just to your customer. All right. If you're sitting down with somebody or talking or engaging a potential customer or referral partner, guess what? That person has a network of people that you need to get to. Now, in my opinion, what you don't need to do is ask them for referrals. Okay. And contrary to popular belief, I don't think you should ask for referrals. I think you should ask for referral partners. Okay. Because first of all, think about it. You sitting down with a customer. You close the deal. They sign the contract. And you say, hey, do you know anybody else that would need this service? What are you really saying to that client? Like unintentionally, probably, right? What are you really saying? Well, yeah, you're not enough. Okay, I need more. Do you got anybody else? That's kind of what you're saying, right? But if you say to that customer, hey, listen, thanks for being a customer. A lot of my business is built on my network, right? And I work with a lot of real estate agents or loan officers. So if you have any of those guys in your network, I would love to meet them so that we can start networking together and help each other's business. Doesn't that sound better? Right? So, and guess what? It's a lot easier for a customer to refer you to a referral partner than to refer you to a customer. They may not know anybody that needs your service right now, but I guarantee they know somebody that is an ideal referral partner for you. So that's a cool strategy. Next one is define work. All right, the top right. What is work to you? Now, I alluded to this before, but in my company, we define work as engaging customer getters or engaging potential customers, right? So if you're talking to a potential customer or a potential referral partner, that's work, and that's all work is. Everything else is not work. So preparing a quote is not work. Driving to an appointment, that's not work, right? Organizing my email, that's not work. Doing research on a customer, that's not work, right? Now, do you have to do research? Yes, you do. Do you have to prepare a quote or a proposal, a presentation? Yes, you do. All right. But do not categorize it as work. Because when you look at your daily grind, when you look at your daily activity, you may have been super busy all day. But guess what? If you didn't work according to my definition, guess what you're not doing? Ultimately, you're not going to be making money. You must do revenue generating activity every single day. All right. And when you get to a certain level, you make sure your team is doing revenue generating activity every single day. Don't get bogged down with just being busy. Be productive. All right. Next one is collect data. All right. So cold call. All my sales guys that start me, they got a cold call. All right. Now I know some people think that's like old school. It's not old school. In my opinion, cold call is like going to boot camp, right? It's like, hey, if you can do this, if you can start off cold calling, it's going to build character. That's what it does, right? Because it's so uncomfortable. But if you can get through cold calling, I mean, you can get through anything, right? And the key is you don't cold call to sell anything. You don't try to get an appointment cold calling. All you're doing is collecting information, all right? Our cold call script is, hey, this is Bill with MyTech. We offer internet, voice, and TV service for businesses nationwide. We got some great promos going on in your area. What's a good email address I can send some information to? Boom. And who should I address that information to, right? And just so I send some relevant information, how many phone lines do you have right now? Great. I'll send this out shortly. That's it. That's our cold call. So we're collecting information. Become an expert at collecting information, because guess what? That's the new oil too. I saw that somewhere on Facebook. Like the new oil is data. When you got data, it's gold. Okay, and you can make some moves. And the last one here is questions are the answers. So whoever asks the most questions controls the conversation. All right, and ask open-ended questions. So have you ever sat down with a client and they start asking you questions? Guess what? They control the conversation. You should be asking your client or potential client or partner questions that lead to business. All right. When would you like to be installed? How soon do you want to move? If I could do this, are you ready to move forward? Ask open-ended questions or ask questions that lead to a sale, and you control the conversation. All right. All right. So again, y'all, my objective is to help people win. All right. Especially entrepreneurs. And my goal is to really help 100 entrepreneurs build $1 million business by 2025. Here's how we're going to start off doing this. I got a 90-day course, right? So, and guess what it's called? It's called 7 Steps. All right, 7 steps, 7 figures. And this course encompasses 3 things. Okay, so it encompasses the 7 steps that I just went over, the how. So what I did is I talked about what the steps are. When in the course, I'm talking about how to implement and execute these steps in your business. And then sales boot camp. Some of you guys know I do a sales boot camp every other month. It's a 4-hour seminar, and it's basically how to build a sales machine, or what I like to call a customer magnet, right? But sales boot camp is included in this online course as well as developing a winning team. All right. So the course is going to include a video, print modules, quizzes, a speaker series. So the cool thing about the speaker series, I'm bringing in some of my buddies from EO Nashville. Everybody that's speaking in this speaker series is a millionaire, okay, or has $1 million company at least. So I'm bringing in folks that know what they're talking about. They've done it. They've been in the trenches, and they're building this thing right now. The course also includes TGIF accountability for 90 days. Hey guys, I changed my life with accountability. All right. I'm telling you, when I first started my company, I had somebody who was asking me every day, did you do this? Did you do what you said you were going to do? That kept me on track. People left to their own devices, they are not going to push themselves. I guarantee you. You're not going, I don't care what goal you set. I don't care how motivated you are. But if you got to be accountable, it's curtains, right? Because guess what? You're going to follow through. You're going to do what you said you're going to do most of the time because you got somebody there that you got to be accountable for. It includes group coaching too. So here's my thing, guys. With the course, here's what I realized. I used to do the sales boot camps. Like when I first started, I would do a 4-hour sales boot camp. People would get the information. They'd be excited. In a week or two, they'd come back and say, hey, man, I had success. I closed the deal. Thank you. And then 6 months later, guess what? They're back to their own habits, right? And that's why I created the accountability groups. I said, let's keep everybody accountable, myself included, right? But now I know it has to be a movement. It has to be almost like an accelerator, but it has to be a community of people going after it, right? Because when you surround yourself with like-minded people, you're more likely to hit that goal. So we got a cool Facebook group that we engage in as well. And we're on Marco Polo, man. We're TikToking away throughout the day, like keeping each other accountable. So we try to keep it fun, but at the same time, we're getting business done. All right, so here's the deal. I'm going to release the course Friday, May 22nd. All right, so I don't know if you just put that in your brain or write it down. Friday, May 22nd. But what I want to do is let you guys get access to the course before that, if you want to. All right. So I know everybody's thinking like how much does it cost? Well, it costs $1,000. Okay. All right. So $995, but I'm doing a pre-sale. Okay. And I'm making the course. If you purchase the course before May 22nd, I'm actually going to make the course $495, or we can do 4 payments of $135. Okay. So this is the pre-sale before the course launches. The cool thing about this opportunity is we're going to start coaching this Saturday. We're going to do a group coaching session this Saturday, May the 9th. Yes, May the 9th at 10 a.m. All right. So again, pre-sale before the course launches, $500 off, or 4 payments of $135. Okay. And again, as I mentioned, coaching starts this Saturday. So you can get details on that at 7steps7figures.com. So you can go there, I believe, right now. Here's another quote that my homegirl, Karen Williams, gave us. That she's the owner of Mentech Agency, which is an IT staffing agency. And she says, because of Bill's feedback and expertise, my business literally went from making very little money to a 6-figure business in less than 6 months. Guys, is that ridiculous? Hey, Karen and I go off and on, with coaching and feedback and all this stuff. And I'm telling you, she landed Dollar General as a customer, y'all, based on some feedback and coaching that I gave her. Dollar General, I don't know if you know, it's the largest employer in the state of Tennessee, I think. I heard that several years ago. I don't know if they still are, but that's a big account, right? I've been trying to get my company into Dollar General. They ain't even answered calling me back. But she landed that client based on some stuff that I told her. Here's another review. I've doubled my business from last year because of TGIF accountability. And this is Shaterial. She's somebody in our accountability group. She's crushing it, getting it done. I saw her on Marco Polo today, like saying she just closed another virtual conference. So she's speaking at a conference and providing curriculum or content for this upcoming conference. So guys, and here's one of my favorites, y'all. I showed you this before, but look, just an hour or so with Bill on Friday was literally worth thousands of dollars to my business. So guys, again, I'm passionate about this. I want to see you win, because guess what? If everybody on this webinar had $1 million company, oh, we could change the world. We could change this community. I mean, there's stuff going on in this country right now that's ridiculous, right? But I see people online, like today, I think I saw a lot of people post something saying, I'm tired, right? I'm tired. And my hashtag is, I ain't tired, right? Because guess what? We got to change this thing. And one way to change it is economically, all right? There's an economic disparity, and we can change this through entrepreneurship, right? So if you take the tools that I'm going to put in this course, I guarantee you it's going to change your life. 7 steps to 7figures.com. All right, so here, as promised, y'all, here is what I'm going to offer you. All right, so 5 days of TGIF accountability. All right, so now you may want to take a picture of this screen, because we got some interesting URLs here. But you got the sales hack infographic. And I'm going to include a 15-minute call with me too. So if you got questions about the course, if you got questions about your business and you want some feedback, get with me. You can hit that link and schedule a call. Okay, got you. So this is actually going to be on the website too. So you'll be able to go to thegrindincludesfriday.com in about 10 minutes, and you'll be able to get these links. So if you can't get a picture of this, just go to thegrindincludesfriday.com in about 10 minutes, and you'll see all of this stuff. But that's for staying to the end of the webinar, so that's yours. Use those sales hacks like today, like try them out today. They're going to work. These are the tools that I gave people that are saying I made thousands of dollars. All right, so let's get it done. All right, y'all, that's all I got. 7 steps to 7figures.com. That's where you can pick up the course, $500 off, or 4 payments of $135. Now listen, if I meant to say this earlier, if you guys had questions, and I don't know if you drop them in the chat. I do see some questions in here. So check it out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to answer the questions in an email. Okay. So if you registered for this webinar, which you should have, I got your email, and I want to put the question in the email and then answer the question, if that's cool, because it's kind of tough doing that now, because I want to let you go. I wanted this to be 45 minutes, and I think I'm about 3 minutes over. So y'all have a great Thursday, man. Grind it out. Book an appointment with me if you want to do that. Or sign up for the course, and let's jump on this group coaching this Saturday. I'll see y'all soon. Peace out. Holla.